What is up, everybody? We are live. I've got my collectibles in the house. One of the main dudes here, one of the real collectors, one of the people that know almost everything about any fandom. So what's up, buddy? Happy to have you in here.
Yeah, thanks, man. This is good. Like we were saying off camera a minute ago, it's been a crazy couple days.
It's been a crazy couple days. I
Just
think
wild, right?
just insane. Man, like just so much going on, right? Like Hulk, Potion, Burning, Disney Metaverse, the
Yeah.
private trades. Like there's just a lot of things to discuss. So it's
Yeah,
gonna be
you never get bored. I mean, if you want an unbored life, just be a VV user.
it,
Day
that's
to day
right.
to day, you just remember those days when like we didn't have very much going on, a whole weekend of no drops, and we were just sitting around like, oh yeah, we'll just buy stuff in the market. Remember those days? Those
I
days are long
do.
gone, my friends.
I remember that. It was like anticipation for like 4 weeks, just waiting for the next drop.
I know, like just long gone, right? There's always something happening, and the community is so active. I was saying earlier, I've said this like a few weeks ago or whatever, that I know people are passionate and some people are upset, for all sorts of reasons, the trades and the all that. But like an active community is better than a dead community. If nobody was talking about this stuff, nobody would care. I remember if you're if you're into sports, like I coach and stuff, and I remember my high school coaches, used to say like if you're not talking to you or being hard on you or whatever, then then that's a sign that we don't care.
Right.
And once you lose that, then you're really in trouble. Like if this community goes silent and goes dead, then you know that VV's really in trouble. But the fact that people are speaking up so much and they're passionate and they're upset about certain things shows you that they still care a lot about the app. Whether or not they're happy or not, that's another thing. But like if people just were like, gone
Yeah.
and it was just quiet, and then you know that the project's really in trouble. So I think that VV's super healthy and strong. It's just working these things out, and like people they still care. If they didn't care, they would just leave.
You got it. I mean, I think you nailed that, right? I mean, is there's so many people in here. It's like a bad relationship with a great person. Like you're like, oh my God, please let's make it work. You're fighting, you're talking to them, be with your friends, but you're really like still in love. And like that's what's going on with Vivi right now. Is that like people are like they're hurting with their bags, but they see the massive potential still. And they
Yeah.
still see where this space is going. I mean, with the macroeconomic conditions, and they're still pulling in like $1 million in revenue. I mean, I think they sold 750K just on that last Disney Platinum Moments drop, right? So it's like they're still moving and grooving. Like, are they going to make mistakes along the way? 100%.
Yeah.
And it's just like how we weather the storm as a community, man. So I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I was, there's certain things you just can't control. So anything that happens from day to day in this app, like any kind of announcement, news, I talked about this a lot today on my own live stream. Like you just gotta like see what you can get out of anything. Like any news that comes out, whether it's like negative news, if you think
Yeah.
it's negative, or positive, or some announcement, or a new drop, or this is canceled, or this is out. Like for example, payout, right? Payouts like going away for a bit. We don't know how long, but there's what's the opportunity there? Well, maybe right now you can pick some stuff up for cheap because people are selling for cheap to hurry up to cash out before they get rid of it. Or afterwards, usually when payout goes away, the market rises, because you can't cash out. So we see stuff go up in value. We've seen this before. Maybe you sell some stuff then. Like you have to always have the right mindset to like see what can I do that's going to like benefit me personally, or in any situation. That's how I look at it. I try to go, okay, this is news that's come out. How is it going to affect what I'm trying to do? And how can I, turn it to my advantage, and like, it doesn't always have to be everything great for you to actually benefit. Like some stuff that negative happens in the app, individually as a collector or as someone who's trying to make money in here or flip or whatever, you can use some of these things to your advantage. And if you keep the right frame of mind, and not get it
Yeah.
personal about it, you can actually get ahead in some of these situations, when other people freak out. Like it's just, it's just being an adult, really. I mean, just try to keep your emotions in check and try to see like, the opportunities in front of you.
Man, such good points, man. And you see that all the time in bear markets and people capitalizing on opportunities when like the mainstream media was, flooding crypto and people were buying, they were making money, right? So it's like, it's interesting
Yeah.
how you can capitalize on those things. And, I guess the question of the day here is like, what about over the counter deals or like, like we hosted a space. If you haven't seen that space, it was like Call
Yeah,
Me
I was
Homies and
listening.
I.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we hosted a space. Great dude. He was like kind of one of my mentors growing in this
Yeah.
whole platform.
Great guy.
Yeah, and we just kind of hit it in the middle. Like we were talked about the good, the bad, the ugly, like, but I think like ultimately, um from my perspective, it seemed like, anybody that was really like collecting low mints, that was really interested in that, then it obviously may have affected them because it was things that they would have probably wanted to collect. And then if they knew there was like a backdoor to maybe talk to David, then they
Yeah.
wouldn't have bought like, a number 41 at like, 6 grand, let's say hypothetically. They would have been like, oh, let me get a number 21 and see if I can get in contact with David. Um, and
Yeah.
so like, like there was just a lot of really great NFTs that went on there in that transaction. So I guess what's your take on that, brother?
Yeah, man. So, I've been trying to mention this to a few people the last couple of days because I had a chance to think about, if it is this backdoor deal, the over the counter. By the way, shouldn't it be under the counter?
That's what I figured too. I just keep
Like,
seeing OTC.
yeah, shouldn't it be UTC or under the table, maybe UTC?
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
even said it earlier, maybe it should be like IBA, like in the back alley, or maybe
right.
inside the jacket. I mean, this, I'm just joking around.
Yeah,
But no, what I've been trying to tell people is, if this is a backdoor deal, okay, this is under over the counter deal, or whatever, over the table deal, or whatever. And he was able to coordinate this and get a hold of David Yu, for example, and like, put a bunch of money in and do some sort of deal. There's all sorts of like ramifications for that kind of thing happening because, like if it's not done through the marketplace, I get it with the fees and all that. I know I'm fully aware of the whole situation, everybody, as we all are, right? We've all broken it down. But I was trying to say, like, you got to put yourself, you got to try to understand what happened here, what potentially could happen. If you think about like how David's mind works, and I don't know David, like I've only met him at Decon and only talked a few times, not like any like on a live stream or anything like that. Only at Decon I had a chance to meet him a bit. But if you just watch his interviews, if you just like listen to the way he talks and you look at his history and his background, you look at the stuff on his wall behind him, this is a guy who, looks to go get the crazy stuff that nobody else can get, like as a collector, right? Like this guy will go and meet artists and he'll go to all the conventions and he'll like do these backdoor deals. And like, if you're in like the collectible world, like I've been in with my store and everything, and you're the owner of like really pristine stuff that a lot of people might want, you don't usually just sell it out to the public, to anyone who walks in with the most amount of money. You actually, only certain people like you'll deal with for that kind of thing. And David has all the experience of going after stuff like that. Like if you look at his wall, he's got all these prototypes, signed stuff, artist proofs, whatever. He brings that stuff to the app. You know that this is how his mind works, right? These backdoor deals. Like you can't go buy that stuff at some shop and just walk in. Usually you have to know someone. You have to like put the work in. You have to like, make the relationships happen, somehow find a way. And then what happens is when somebody gets something like that and they buy it off someone, they share it. Other collectors go, holy crap, man, how did you get your hands on that? Like, how is that available? Wow, where did that come from? Who had oh, well, here's the story. And then David, you will tell you 100 stories about how he went down to this and he saw that, he met this person, he managed to somehow get in his collection this crazy piece that isn't available to everybody else. So when I saw a bunch of uproar about people saying this isn't fair, if this is a deal, how come we didn't get a shot at it? I'm a big collector. I own, like, this is like a whale in the app, owns a tons of 41s or something like that. How come, we didn't get a shot at it? Well, maybe this guy, and this is just speculation, but maybe he found some way to get in there and talk to the owners and say like, look, I'm really looking at this stuff. I'm not going to floor it. You're not going to see it on the market. So I really want to try to do a deal. And maybe this is David's mentality in his head. He's like, I understand this kind of thing. This is how collectors do it, right? They go behind and they only sell to certain people, right? And if you have an opportunity now, if you're one of these people who has a big bag in here, who's a super whale, who's spent a lot of money, who deserves to get some like attention for sure, Maybe you now have a little crack in the door to go after that crazy mint that you never thought you'd ever get a chance to get. It's actually, like I said, potential opportunity for you, right? So I was just kind of trying to put people in the mindset of David Yu. Now, whether or not he should be doing this kind of stuff, that's a whole other thing, right? Like whether or not this stuff should actually happen, that's a whole other conversation, like, you know, because of all the different ramifications for it. But this kind of deal, if this is a deal, it's not surprising to me at all, you know, with that. And you know, this, the other crazy thing about it is, like, you know, some people in the community don't understand, and this is no disrespect to anybody, but some people don't understand the collector's mindset where they just don't want to sell to everybody. Okay. They want to, like, I'm going to give you an example. So if David, you put out, like, say, Fantastic Four Mint 100, right? I think that's one of the ones that was in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. If he just put it on public auction, that thing would be in the market. By whoever wins it, it would be in the market going for triple. And maybe that's not what David Yu wants. For example, if this is a deal, maybe he only wants to sell to somebody who's not going to floor it or put it in the market or resell it. Because if all those 41 mint collectors want access to this stuff fairly and publicly on auction, guess what? All those 20 mints, all those 30 mints, they're all going to end up in the market, and your 41 collection is going to suffer. So maybe these are the only ways to keep your collection safe, is backdoor deals. I don't think anyone's really talking about that, because this stuff is probably not going to show up in the marketplace. And, you know, like, so if I, at my toy shop, for example, if I had some vintage toy and some, you know, somebody asked me if I had one, and I said, yes, I do. And they came into my shop and they're like, I'll give you 10,000 for it, and it's only worth 5. And I'm like, oh, wow. Okay, what are you going to do with it? Oh yeah, I'm going to flip it instantly. As a collector, in my mind, I might go, I don't want to sell this to you because you don't respect the piece. You're just going to dump it. And sometimes collectors get crazy like that. David Yu has that mindset. You think he's just going to let some of this crazy stuff that he owns go? Like, you have to think that he might actually feel attached to these mints, these crazy low ones that they hold back. Maybe he doesn't want it all out to the public, to everybody. These are just things I'm bringing up to people to try to understand, like, the mindset of a crazy collector like that. And if this is how he's going to run his app, like, this is his app, just like, you know, my store, I ran my store that way, then, you know, there's nothing we can do about it. We just have to go with the flow. And if there's an opportunity to get one, maybe you can get your hands on one. I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to, like, get people to think it maybe that way, right?
No, I think it's some, I mean, yeah, you're bringing up some really interesting points, things that I haven't even heard about before yet, right? And I think, like, the way that I explained it to somebody was, like, you know, imagine if you're at, like, Christie's auction and they have, like, a Marvel Comics #1, like an 8.0, and you're not aware of, like, any other deals that can be made. You think this is like a one, you know, piece, right? And then you're there and you bid on it. Let's say you win it for like 1.6 mil. Then all of a sudden 3 months goes by and you find out somebody got like a 9.0 from the same charity house, but for like 1.2 mil.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You'd be like, okay, wait a second, right? Like,
yeah.
So
was that even available?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what if I would have known that, you know, I would have probably went and just made, you know, a direct correlation with the CEO. So I think that's where, like the precedent is kind of been set. And I think that's what people are saying is, like, you know, some of these whales that are huge mint collectors maybe would have went after, you know, the number 100 Marvel Comics #1 or the number 250 Spider-Man Miles Morales, or like all these ones that are like kind of like, you know, out of the public eye. And so I think that's where it's like difficult. It's because at the same time, you know, people are saying, like, hey, it's a private company, they can do whatever the heck they want, like, and, you know, and we also don't know, like you said, my collectible is like the actual extent of what happened there, right? Like, I don't know if, you know, like, from what I heard from Silicon was that, like, you know, Danny Boy is actually some, like, part of like an investing group or something like that, where like, who knows if this was like a company like wanting to invest in some of the most significant pieces. So there's still some, like, but I don't know if you heard, but Alex was on Spaces and he said that something like Danny Boy wanted some specific things and couldn't get it with like credit card, so he like reached out to David Yu directly for like I think it was like a wire transfer or something. So again, I don't have all the details, but I hear it from both sides, you know.
Well, I think it so okay, so somebody had to break the ice.
Yeah.
Right? If this stuff was even possible, how many people have actually tried to get their hands on these things? Is this the first guy? Because
Oh
is this
no.
the first guy? Because if other people have tried and failed and been told no,
It's
nope,
so
then like, and that all came out, but maybe, like well, obviously you're going to answer. So do you know other people have tried to like contact
yeah.
them to buy mints and low stuff, like crazy stuff?
So
Because, you know,
I think there has been a lot of sells, but I don't know the
yeah.
extent of it. Like maybe the blockchain just didn't pick it up. Like I think that's what people were saying. Like if this is getting picked up now, then there's obviously probably happened before.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that in that regard, yeah, for sure,
but I
for
don't
sure.
know if anything like David Hughes selling a number 2 Todd to anybody as an example.
Could you imagine?
I'd be pissed.
Oh,
Be like, David, that was mine.
but here's the thing, like, this is the thing, right? Like everybody, like, don't you want those?
Right.
Maybe you have a shot. I don't have a shot. I can't buy a number 2 Todd. Like I don't have the cash for that, however much it would be. But maybe there's a chance you can get it now, And like,
Right.
so don't be upset about what just happened. If there is a door, if there's a crack in the door and you're a serious collector in here and if you're a serious collector in here and you put a ton of money in, you should feel comfortable contacting them and saying, "Hey, I already know people who have because of this." People have said, "Oh, I sent them an email right away now." Like, while everybody else is freaking out and crying and being upset by it because, like it's a shock, right? If this kind of thing happened, I guess for a lot of people, it's a reality check. If you're into crypto and you're in Vivi now and you got tons of stuff, but you never lived in that David Yu collectible world, this is how it works. Okay. And it goes for anything. It goes for some people in the chat. It's not just comic books, goes for everything else, like some things you can't get your hands on unless you know people. And then, like who gets like Indiana Jones's whip from the set? I mean,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, how did you get that? Holy crap. Well, here's the story. Okay, so this, and then blah, blah, blah. This is how it went. Took me 6 months to track that thing down. Finally found it. Backdoor deal. It wasn't just up on eBay, Oh, I just snagged it on eBay. Like, it might end up on eBay, right? But the person who's selling that item, just like some of this stuff, maybe, if this is David Yu's thing, maybe he's like, oh, this guy, okay, he's contacted me, wants to get special things for this reason. They're talking. Could have took a while, could have took a few months for this to go down. And then he might have went like, yeah, okay, he's not going to put this stuff on the market. This stuff's locked away. You have to think about that. I mean, maybe David was like willing to do this kind of a deal, to keep somebody big in the app. And maybe they sent some shit the other way, right? That they don't want because of all those other issues with that people are. I don't really want to talk about that stuff because I don't know enough about Omar.
Same, yeah.
Like I don't really want to get into that, but maybe there's some like, hey, like I've spent $1 million in the app already. Can you can I give you this stuff and we'll trade some and I'll give you however they decided to do it. You got to take care of your big people in the app for sure. And some big people haven't been taken care of, and I think that's why some of them are pissed. But maybe now they can contact. But if like I said, if this is how maybe you can get your foot in the door. And maybe you can send a message and say, I've spent so-and-so amount and I'd really like, because I'm passionate, I want this. But if you're getting it just to put it in the market and double your money, good luck. Because sometimes these collective people don't want to sell just to anybody who's just going to drop it on the floor. Because if they did and they open up the floodgates here, then like seriously, all the 41 mint collectors, they're going to be screwed. Because this is what they're worried about, right?
You're so accurate. And like I had a lot of shadow whales, like guys that don't even like they're anonymous, but I'm in contact with that like reached out to me and were like, hey, like these are big, like so these are not maybe
shadow whales.
Yeah, bro. Like I like they're under the radar.
I love that.
Yeah, and I'm like I'm not saying like I'm an amateur YouTuber, but I think like I'm connected with a few of them, right? And a lot of them are like, hey, I'm taking a break because I don't feel comfortable about this because the goalposts are shifting. And if I would have known this, I would have just reached out and maybe done something else. And so, it becomes difficult because then they also said, I would have loved if like the transparency came out and just said, hey, guess what? We're going to have, a UTT under the table. Or like, let's say, guess what? If you have 25,000 OMI, or if you have 100 full sets, or if you're like, high up in the VV community, you're now going to have special access to like potentially bid on some of these prized possession collectibles, you know?
Yeah.
But
That might
like
happen too. That might happen
that
one
might
day.
happen, right? And I think
Yeah.
that would be like a good move forward. But I agree with you. You're saying too is that like, you know, if people reached out and asked, like, who knows what that conversation would have been. But like the other part to that is like, is it fair? But I want to read what somebody said here. I think it
Fair's
was
got nothing to do with it.
yeah, Bill says
I don't know why everybody thinks things have to be fair. I
yeah,
mean,
well, that's what Bill
you know what
says,
I'm
right?
saying?
Yeah,
Like,
he's like, love how we're saying basically I want a chance at buying something for hundreds of thousands. He's like,
yeah,
if those, like, because I wouldn't be able, like, even if David's like, all right, Chad, I see you've been complaining. What do you want? I'd be like, well, I'd like that mint number 2 Todd. And
yeah.
he'd be like, all right, that's 83 grand. I'd be like, oh shit.
That's not how it works because it's true, right? Because like, and I know you're gonna read a comment, but it's like
Yeah,
that's just not how it works. I mean, that's just not how things work. Like, fairness and stuff, everybody getting a shot. That's not how the collectible industry is. It's dog eat dog. It really is. And
yeah,
crypto's no different, right? I know we're in a project. You know when it's fair? When they put out a drop and we all have a shot to go for whatever's left over and they hold back the stuff they want. And guess what? Other projects hold back stuff too and send it out to whoever they want. I mean, the whole kid called Beats thing, right? They
yeah,
were all questioning the owner about what is he doing with those ones he's hidden in his wallet, giving them to his uncle and whatever. And, all I don't know all the details. And he's like, it's my project. I'll do whatever the hell I want because I spent $50,000 building this thing and I kept a few for myself and I'm going to give one to my sister. And they're like, fair enough. So it's
right.
communication, right? So, but here's the other thing too, pirates. So like, let's just think logically about this for a second. Big backdoor deal goes down. Boom, 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 boom. So what's VV supposed to do? Because it's on the blockchain, we can all see it, right? We don't know exactly how it went down, but we can see the transactions, but not the money or whatever. What they're going to do? Hey, everybody, we just did an awesome backdoor deal with the guy, we just did this, and you guys didn't have a chance, but we're just going to let you know that we put this deal out there together, but you guys never had a shot at it. Like, what you think they're
Yeah,
going to announce? So why would they announce that? I mean,
right.
so the reason they're going to have to announce it because it's on the blockchain and people see the transactions and go, what's going on? And then of course the speculation train runs for 2 days and we all have a lot of fun freaking out and like thinking about what's going on. That's the ramification of the deal, right? So I'm not saying what they did was like they should do that if this is what happened, but what are they going to do? Do an announcement like a tweet? We just did a whole backdoor deal and sold a bunch of stuff to this guy because he worked 6 months to try to get it from us. And you all of you never had a chance at this, by the way.
Right.
Like what do you want them to say? So you got to think logically about it. It's just fairness has nothing to do with it. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. It's like if I'm coming across a bit harsh, but I've just seen these kind of deals happen all the time. Like, outside of like the VV app. Now, should it happen here? I don't know. But if this is the owner's mentality and he's this crazy collector guy, this is how you get your hands on stuff like that. It's not available to everybody.
so I definitely love your take, man, and this is why I wanted to have you on because, like, the sentiment, like for the most part, some people were critical, some people were positive, but like it's nice, like we said, like to be even keel and be like, okay, what are all the attributes here of this situation? And that tweet that Danny Boy sent out
Yeah.
had over 70,000 impressions, which I've never even had that many impressions in the bull market. I think it
How
was
was
like
the views on your last video? Come on now.
yeah, exactly. But I was like, man, like so this is like a hot topic, right?
Yeah.
But I think like it potentially does set a precedent moving forward, and people are like, okay, like David, like I want the number 14, so like what can you do for me? So it's
Yeah.
interesting. But I guess
Yeah,
like
there's trickle down dominoes to this whole thing.
that's
If
what I
that's
mean.
what they did, if they did a backdoor deal, if they did this kind of thing, then yeah, people are going to be calling them up now. And guess what? You better pick up that phone quick and stop crying on Twitter if you are serious about getting some of this stuff, if there is a chance, because other people are already calling them up and they're probably ignoring them. I mean, I don't think the floodgates are going to open here at all. I
Yeah.
think this is probably very specialized, and maybe certain people have had this opportunity in the past and we're just finding out about it now. But you know what? They're the owners of their store and they hold these items in their possession that they own. Love it or leave it. They can do whatever the hell they want with it. Above terms of service too, everybody. I own my toy store. You can't smoke in here, but I fucking can because it's my shop. Terms of service, you're out. I'm in my
Oh yeah,
Discord server, right? I got my drop head NFT project. I have rules behind that.
yeah,
I can break the rules. I can transfer stuff to people. You know, I can do certain things in there. My community is not allowed to do certain things. I mean, I don't have rules. You know what I'm saying? I'm
yeah.
just like, I don't actually have rules for my drop heads, but I'm just saying, like, you know, the owners of the company set the rules. They're allowed to do whatever they want with their stuff. It's the rules are for the rest of us. Now, that might suck for people. You know, David is not going to jail for like selling his stuff. He may lose customers though. There's always a domino. So I'm not saying it's right. I'm
Yeah,
just
I got
saying
you.
let's just, you know, let's just not think that they have to do the same things that we do. They're behind the curtain. We're on the other side. They're the ones setting the rules for the rest of us to play by in their business. And if you don't like how it's going, then you don't have to shop here. It's just a simple real world example. You know what I mean?
Man, I hear you, man. Like again, like this is what I love, and there's been a really some really good spaces like in the past on Twitter. So like if you guys haven't checked that out, there's a few recorded. And I just want to shout out a few people that are in here right now. We got like Bill, Crypto Kaki, Choo Choo, Victor Texas, Vader V, like so many of the big guys I see all over Twitter. And Vader has his perspective. He's like in the military, you'd be kicked out.
Yeah,
And
sure.
and
Different rules for different places. Yeah.
yeah, and I also want to shout out one of those whales here. We got Nigan Tran in here. He just hit 170th, I think, his
Yeah.
overall rank.
I
Yeah, man.
follow him, dude. He's insane. You're a monster.
Yeah, and yo, Crypto Kaki, man, thanks for sending that through. That's super kind of you. What a legend. And I guess we could probably segue into that because everybody came out with these posts being like, "I'm leaving, I'm done." You saw that, right? Like, VV's over for
Yeah.
me, and then they drop Hulk, and everybody's gonna come right back.
Well, yeah, man. It's too good. That's why, like I said earlier when we first started, people are mad because they care. And that's a good thing.
Right.
You know, when people speak up, they care, they're passionate. You know, they don't like what's happening or they do like what's happening or whatever, but they care. The community is extremely active for the size that we are, right? And active wallets, you know, they go up and down depending on the drop days and stuff like that. But I mean, people care. So yeah, when people are like, I'm done, that's it. And then the next day Hulk comes out, they go, okay, well, maybe after Hulk.
Yeah, that's right. Let me just see if I can hit the SR, and then after that, I'm gone.
Yeah,
right?
because it's too good. Now, some people might be done, and you know, nobody wants anyone to really leave. Like I say, if you don't like it, leave. But it's not like a telling people to get out thing. My perspective on that is like, and we talk about Hulk because I'm freaking out about Hulk,
Dude.
but like I know you might be too. But like my perspective is, if you're not enjoying yourself and it's causing you stress and you're really not happy and you're mad all the time about it and you can't help but go on Twitter and just like, you know, bing, 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 because it's frustrating, then the project isn't right for you. It's okay. Like there are other projects that you might enjoy better and actually really like and get ahead as well and do the good, great things there. And maybe that community is good. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, don't stick around in things that really bother you. Like I'm of an age where I've let all that stuff go. I mean, I used to like toil and trouble back in my 20s, you know, like with work and all sorts of situations in life, right? Where you kind of like try to make things work that don't work. We've probably all been in relationships like that too, right? Sometimes at some point you get to an age where you're just like, you know what? And, you know, comes to different ages with different people. Young people can think the same way too, right? I'm not saying it comes with just with age, but the perspective is if it's not like working out for you, then don't like, you know, I tried to say this a few weeks ago. If it's like really making you upset, then it's okay to leave. Maybe leave for a while, come back if you want. You know, the only thing is like you have cash out, so you could. So all these issues are easily solved by you just selling and getting your money out. But now that cash out's not going to be here for a bit, these issues get amplified for me, right? Like it becomes a bigger problem. Anytime I would always have someone come with a problem, I'd say, well, you can always just cash out. It wasn't me being like a dick about it. It's just like, no, you can always just cash out, get your money and go. Like you can just do that and it's safe that way. Right now, you know, we might have to wait a couple weeks, right? But you know what I'm saying by that? Like there's no sense beating your head on the table if it's not working out for you. For me, it is. Like I like this project. I like the daily grind. I like the ups and downs. I actually enjoy the whole thing. I'm not happy about everything. I'm not, you know, mad about everything. I see opportunities and some days there's no opportunities, right?
Right.
Some days you lose, but I like it. Like, I really like it. I like where it's going. And, so I'm sticking around. But if everyone goes quiet and there's no tweets and there's no fights and no Twitter spaces and no vids, then the community's dead.
Dude, and I think you said that so brilliantly, because I'm like, the fact that there's all this fighting and it's been going on for like 3 days straight, pretty much, like,
Yeah.
hundreds of different people, if not thousands, and they're all like battling each other, and most of them are still here. And I think, new ones are kind of like, maybe getting deterred a little bit, but I think like it's still very lively. Like in the mix of a bear, like if you think about it, we're literally like the macro peak of the bear
I
market, and
know.
it's like, and VV's dropping things like they sold out 750K worth of product last week.
Yeah.
Hulk's probably going to sell it depending on the mint size and everything, but it's like, there's a lot of momentum, man. And I just want to say, is like so many funny comments and coming in here, like, do you think Crypto Khaki says, do you think they held this drop for times like this? And that's
Yeah,
why
I know. I saw that.
I was like, Hulk smash. As soon as there was all this fun, they're like, we just released the fucking Hulk.
Yeah. Well, I tweeted it. I went, Hulk's smashing the FUD.
Yeah.
Like comes right in, bang. And maybe, I mean, that's smart, right? And if let's say they did that, let's say they're like, they got Hulk lined up and ready to go, right in the cannons, and they're like, when should we drop them? I don't know. What do you think's a good date? How about this? How about that? I don't know. And then all of a sudden, all the stuff starts happening. They go, yeah, we probably need to drop something really nice right now because people are pissed. And what's wrong with that? That's just good business. Is this a business? I don't know. Am I confused? Is VV a business? Like,
no, they're a
business
non-for-profit, bro. It's a charity.
Yeah, no. But I mean, like, are they what? They're not allowed to do that? Get some good PR back? I mean, crap, right? I mean, sure. Like, have a sale when people aren't buying, right? That's the other thing. I'd like some discount sales instead of burns.
Yeah, that's so true. And just want to shout out All
Chat Gaming at half price right now. He'd sell out in 2 seconds.
Oh, dude, 100%. All Chat Gaming just tipped us there. Thanks, brother, for that. And
nice.
I think this guy Victor, he actually won one of the comics I did before. He goes, this is, I think he pretty much sums it up. He's like, we all love VV. We're just disappointed because of the lack of communication and not following the deadlines. Hashtag soon. I put 35K in, and I think that's where a lot of people are. It's just like
100%.
Like, let's go. A little more communication, goes a long way. And I think I think it was actually Will Goes Meta. I don't know if you saw his post, but he just said like, if VV just said like I think it was like, David, you addressed somebody personally. It was like, oh, I'll address it. I'm just traveling. But if you said that on Twitter, hey guys, going to address the whole, private deal situation, I'll let you guys know soon. I think that would also like help ease the community because it shows that he's there. But I think like they're just busy, man. And like somebody else came in the space today. I forget her name, but she was so good. And she said, do you see Apple getting like routinely critiqued by these people? And it's like, the thing is that we're so part of the VV community. They almost opened that up from the beginning. Let us like hang out with them. Let us like almost be a family that like we almost feel like we can help guide it. When, if you look at Apple, like they don't really give a shit what people are doing. Like they're just like, this is our product, buy it. Right. So I think that's like, it was just interesting to hear that perspective. But you and I are both like, we're in it. We want it to succeed. We both believe in the long-term vision. Like I said, despite VV, man, these are Lamborghini NFTs. These are the first Disney NFTs. These are the first Spider-Man NFTs, the first Marvel. Like, how could that not be significant long-term, right? Despite what's going on behind, like, closed doors, you still got a piece of the action. Oh, we got Silicon in here too. What's up, brother?
Silicon, there he is. No, man, no, that's a great point that she made. Like, it's so true. Like, I'm not like, like I'm in VV, right? And I love it.
Yeah.
And it's great. But I mean, if VV goes and like doesn't work out, like if this doesn't work out, the business doesn't work out, and they don't follow through, and they don't, improve their communication, and they don't give the community the things they promised, even if it's late, right? We all know stuff is late, but if they don't come through with it, and and this whole thing dies, that would suck. And but I'm not like, I wouldn't freak out, because there's a lot of other projects I'm looking at too that I'm also involved with, that I'm keeping. This whole space is evolving and basically being invented. Like we said earlier, we've talked about this before, like it's being invented in front of our face. We don't know what everything is going to look like in a year. Like I'm doing other projects, and not just for profit or something, just because they're really interesting, and I'm going into ones that I'm enjoying spending time in. I've been making some videos about that NBA so rare,
All
like,
that.
and like it's not because I'm trying to make money on that. I mean, it's a very small little like niche thing at the moment. But I like playing fantasy basketball, and there's NFTs involved, and it's cool. Like there's something. It's so I'm looking for stuff I enjoy, right? Not just money making opportunities
True.
here in Web3. And I think a lot of people, if they start to switch their mentality a bit, it's tough, right? Because a lot of people got in here, let's be honest, a lot of people got in here, trying to get rich and trying to get rich quick. Because during that era, and during that era when I started to get into crypto, I was coming like I should have, if I was 6 months earlier, I could have really done some damage, not just in VV, but with crypto, with Bored Apes, with Bitcoin and Ethereum at certain times. Like if I got in 17 or 18 or 19 and I loaded up a whole bunch of Bitcoin, I mean, it would have been better if I got in like 12 or 13, right? But, in the year, right? But, a lot of people like want to get rich and want to get rich quick. And I think it's changing as the people that are here now, still want to make money and still want to, like, I want to make money I want to sell my stuff for top and take money out and buy some stuff in the real world and have some super valuable stuff. But, like I'm the same, right? Like that's why my stuff behind me is the same thing, right? Physical stuff. So, but I think the mentality is like people like really got to look beyond just the value of stuff. And if Vivi can deliver on their MCP like they're supposed to, and their Viviverse and this whole thing that we can play more in, I think it'll be a lot more enjoyable for people. And the communication really, I think people are looking for clear communication on all the stuff they do wrong. And, they want them to like justify everything they do. And sometimes they don't have to, it's like, I'm looking for communication on, exactly like where they are in the process, like where they are with MCP. And I keep seeing everybody getting MCP, and I keep opening up my app. They're like, oh, 2 hours ago, look, I want mine now. Like, I want to get there. I want to see what it really looks like. So I'm waiting for like this vision to kind of take hold. And you know what, Chad, somebody said earlier, and I'm sorry if I'm talking a lot, but
no, I love it, man. That's why you're here.
Yeah, somebody said earlier today, they're like, they want to see like the vision of what Vivi actually wants to do, and not let Vivi. I think it was I think it actually was in the Twitter space you guys were doing. I can't remember. Maybe you'll remind me of who said it, but they want Vivi to stick to their vision and not get like swayed by all these people on Twitter. Because if they do that, then they'll create products that they never intended to begin with. And I think their vision was really spot on. Like if you actually look at the vision of the company, what they're trying to do, like what we've heard they're trying to do, and it's taken a long time because they're inventing it, So I want to see that. And then when I'm in that and I'm in my vault in the Viviverse, and we have OCP or OUP and MCP and all that stuff in place, like at least up and running to a certain degree, then I can really evaluate, okay, is this really something that's going to work? Am I having fun here? But right now we're just buying and selling stuff on the market. I can't judge it fully yet. And if I'm not going to leave yet because I've already put this much time in. I'm just going to wait. I got all the time in the world. And in the meantime, I'm going to explore other projects and have fun there too. And, try to make a bit of money on some of those projects and try to make a bit of money here. But, mostly I'm just stacking AF-15s as fast as I can. I bought 3 more last week, my friend.
What do you got, 33?
3 more last week.
Yeah, that's crazy. And, that's exactly.
They dropped to 220, and I was like, okay, I have to get those.
I saw that you made I think you bought 3, right? For like
just 3 more uncommons because they were like 220, 225, 230.
Crazy.
I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, I just can't.
Yeah.
You know what actually happened there? What actually happened? This is what actually happened. So I went to go load some gems, because I saw that one at 220, and I'm like, okay, I gotta go after that one. And so I did the transaction on the web app, and it said failed. And I was like, oh, damn. So I did it again, and it said failed. And I was like, damn. So I did it a third time, and it failed. And I went, what the heck? So I quit. And then I opened up my phone, and I had all the gems in 3 purchases. So basically, I was only going to make 1, but I made 3. And I could have been all like, made a big video. Vivi just scammed me. Give me my money. Right? Because that was like some sort of glitch.
Right.
So, but no, I just actually bought all three. I was like, well, I got all three now. So,
Yo, that's awesome. Good for you, man. And buddy, like, and that was
you're the only one I've
exactly
told. You guys are the only ones I've told about that. It's funny.
yeah, and that's exactly like what my thinking was, right? Like coming into this app, I was like, okay, these are some of the most significant, physical items in our world that's ever been, right? Like Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, etc., right?
Mhm.
Batman. And I was like, wait a second, like we have Marvel Comics #1, we have SRA 15, like all these things are, subject to physical degradation, to damage, to them being potentially lost forever if there was ever like a World War III or a nuclear disaster. And the way I always saw blockchain was a way to like ensure that there was some permanence for our most valued digital assets ever. And
Yeah.
when I looked at the places doing that, like Vivi, even DC was Superman #1, and even some of these like the Mickey Mantle baseball card as an example, like all that stuff to me is really significant, and that's why I'm here, right? So,
Yeah.
but I think there's a lot of people asking you this question, bro, and that's from Crypto Kaki, and I think Silicon says it too. Uh, you know, is the Disney news good or bad thing for Vivi going forward, man? The
Yeah,
metaverse, like
yeah, I
for
covered
sure.
this today too with I actually went onto Variety's website because
Ah,
they did Sesame Street, so I started following them and everything. And they put an article out, a really nice one actually, about how Disney's laying off their metaverse team, 50 people or something. And actually, in that article, if you go to Variety and you could just like Google it and you'll find it because there's a bunch of articles about it, right? But Variety's one. And they actually show like the other companies are doing layoffs since January. Like it's crazy, right? And
right.
actually, we talk about this isn't the first round of layoffs that Disney's doing, like 7,000 people this quarter or something, and then there's going to be
Crazy.
more by summertime, and then so I really feel bad. First thing I want to say is I feel bad for people being laid off. That's the first thing we should all be thinking about. Hopefully,
True.
their families and everything's all great. So, and but the ramifications for Vivi, and people can like be really cynical about this if they want, but this is the way I look at it. If I'm Vivi and I see that news and we're with Disney and they're talking to them all the time. We don't even know what they're saying, but they're talking to each other all the time. And just from an outside perspective, I'm like, this is our chance. Let's get this VV verse up and running here. Disney's put it on hold because they put it on hold. They're not. I mean, let's
Yeah.
be honest. Disney's not going to not be in Web3. I mean, they're going to be doing something. But everyone a year ago, remember, it was a year ago. Everyone was like, oh shit, Vivi's dead. Disney's going to take their stuff and leave, or they're going to start doing their own thing. And what's going to happen to our golden moments and blah, blah, blah. Now it's like, well, Vivi has the opportunity to really, come through with this Vivi verse and have their Disneyland in it. Because remember, we can all get land in the Vivi verse. Apparently, we get our golden ticket. We'll be able to buy land and have our spot. You'll be able to have your spot. We come into Pirates Island all the time. You guys can come over to my collectibles and check out my drop heads and my amazing fantasies all over the place. But like Disney's going to have their thing too. So I think this thing, if they're putting it on hold, that means Vivi's the company who's doing all the stuff with Disney with their NFTs. For me, it's an opportunity for Vivi. The way I
Mhm.
see it from the outside, I go, well, yeah, if I'm Vivi, I'm going like, okay, they don't want to put any money into this at their main company. We already have them. Let's really follow through here. That's how I look at it. And I think it could be bullish for Vivi for that kind of thing, right? The cynical people are going to be like, oh, yeah, there's always a spin on it. But there's always something when you get news. Like I talked about, is it good news or bad news, right? It's like there's potential opportunity there. If you're Vivi, get that metaverse up and running. Let's go.
Yeah.
Disney's on hold, and you can really go like, this is the place, and Disney can go, you know what, you guys are great. That's actually, you guys did a really good job there. How about we do some stuff there? Now, I don't think Disney will ever buy Vivi because that means we'll never get any other IP on the app dropping other than Disney stuff. You know what I mean? Like if Disney bought Vivi, then we probably would never get like RoboCop or something, because how could they sell other people's IP, right? So I don't think that's ever going to happen. But maybe Disney's like, Vivi's doing such a great job, we can just keep on dropping stuff there. We're good to go.
Dude, I mean, I love that. And I think somebody else, totally echoes what you were saying. They're like, maybe this is like Disney's like, hey, like you guys continue to do your thing. We're going to have to pull back. But I think like what you said was, Disney's such a massive organization that what they're thinking about right now is service. They're like, okay, what is actually making us money? And like all the R&D stuff, research and development, they're like, let's, phase that back right now. And like, we're already getting money from VV, as, as micro as that might be for them, relative proportion of what they make. But I think like, the only thing that I heard was kind of concerning is that like, because the Disney metaverse is such a huge, momentous kind of thing, that like potentially a lot more people would have stemmed there and then came to VV. So it could kind of take away from the market share. And then I think the other piece to this was like, was that R&D team kind of responsible for maybe like, because they talked about the storytelling, and to me, the burning of the potion for the poster is something that it feels though that metaverse team would be, discussing potentially with their licensors. Like, I feel like they might have had a partnership there or something. So I'm like, does that mean it's one of the few burning opportunities we get for a while? Because like, there's not going to be as many. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I that's a really good point, because who's working on that stuff for the VV app from Disney, right? Like, who are the people? Were they the people in that room? And maybe VV will hire one or two of those people now, right? I don't know, but yeah, that's a really good point. And but the thing is like, Disney's play in the metaverse or Web3 is, a long-term thing. I mean, they're years away, right? So, maybe VV is too, but I don't know, man. I see it as an opportunity for VV.
Yeah. And I've got a question for you, because this is something I've been thinking about. Okay. So when I originally purchased like SR Spider-Man back in the day, or like Miles Morales, like I'm thinking to myself, right? This is the mentality that I have, is that, okay, Disney's setting up, Marvel's setting up these characters to be like the NFTs on the blockchain first ever. And I know that they're collectibles right now, but my hope was that there always would be like these branches of extensions that could happen from that collectible. As an example, discounts at stores, utility in games, NFTs, almost like you'd see in Fortnite. Like, imagine if like you bought the new Miles Morales game, that's like a web-based game in 5 years, and like you're using your actual character that you have on the blockchain, and they're just like spawning a skin for you in this other game. Like, do you think it could extend to like where these things are very useful, or do you think it kind of stays a collectible? Because then I would say that when there is gamification, and inevitably I do believe like Marvel NFTs will become, or Marvel will have NFTs in games, and so then does it like supersede the old stuff, like the collectibles that we have now? Because then it's like almost like ancient and like a dinosaur, because it's like, hey guys, if you can't run around with Miles and and be interoperable within 3 different games or metaverses, then like, why are you collecting this thing? You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I just hope that like there's a much bigger plan in place for a lot of this stuff, rather than just like something for the interim, right?
Yeah. And with Sony's news that their patent cross-platforming, NFTs,
right?
My only thought is that potentially they could actually maybe make it like a key, like a pass. So, Miles, right?
Yeah.
You got the collectible, unlocks the skin or something like that. That could be something I could see what happen. But I totally see what you're saying for sure.
Yeah, somebody's like, yo, Pirates MC, how close to the bottom are we? When the flood is high, time to buy. Am I right?
I'm gonna actually have to get going, man.
Yeah, no worries at all.
I don't want to end it quick, but I'm kind of suffering a bit here.
Yeah. Yo, thanks for being here, man.
So good. So
yeah.
But I toughed it out for you, man.
Yeah, you're the man, bro. Everybody say peace to my collectibles. Yo, I'll still stay on for a little bit, but yo, really, really appreciate you, coming on, sharing the love, and for kind of doing this last minute. I just like DM'd him. I'm like, we're going live tonight. He's like, let's do it.
Oh yeah, man. I'll be back. I'm losing my voice though. You can hear it. Look at me. I'm freaking out all day.
Get some water, brother. We'll see you again soon. Thanks for coming on. All right.
Yeah, I'll keep watching though. Cheers.
All right. Cheers. Thanks, brother. Peace, buddy. All right, what up, everybody? So I'm still going to take some questions and everything. My collectibles is obviously, a big deal, important guy in the community. So, I just wanted to get him on, share some thoughts. And I'm going to see if there's any other question here. So I'm just going to read some of the stuff out, because we've been talking before. So, CryptoKaki says, endless potential on what can be done in the metaverse. You can tokenize them at any time across multiple platforms, even if they are not interoperable. IMO. Sony and Epic news was huge. I totally agree. And I also think the crazy news with like, IMX, Polygon, the gaming aspect, all that stuff kind of feels like cyclical. Like, it feels like there's going to be some kind of cross association between a lot of this stuff. So I think it's a big deal. Victor Texas says, my wife just told me I'm a moon boy and to stop bitching because all I talk about is VV. Bro, welcome to my life. This is why I'm in the basement, man. My wife got rid of me. People are just saying bye to MC. Great guy. He's obviously got a lot to say, and he put out a few streams today too, guys. So if you want to go check that out, yeah, make sure to do that. Yeah, and please Hulk smash that like button. I want to tell you guys, I think I'm almost at 8,000 subs. So let's see what I'm at. I think I might have dropped one. Yeah. So I'm at 7,999 subs. So if there's anybody there in this that wants to sub right now to make it 8,000, that would be amazing, man. Yeah, a lot of people love him, man. Take Care of My Collectibles, one of my favorite community members. This gentleman says, yo, dude, I want to appreciate your content. You're positive, objective. Keep it up, man. Yeah, one thing I just want to keep saying to everybody, like, we can be positive, we can be optimistic, but we also got to be critical. And it's just like in any like really good functioning relationship. Like if you're just always just ignoring the things that piss you off or bother you, and you're just like, you're the best, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. So again, like we all got a goal. Like we all want VV to be successful. We all want to see it succeed. But at the same time, like if there's things like, the OTC component that happened where like you're seeing a lot of these like, big time whales that are low mint chasers, then it's just important to kind of discuss this topic, right? To make it more transparent and for more people to think about it. So thoughts on Todd? So man, I love Todd. I mean, it's, FA, everything pretty much. What is it? FA Batman, FA DC, FA VV. It's like the first collectible on the VV app, so it's already significant in that regard. And you see me make so many videos about it. The only thing that I'd like to see more of is just the Go Chain component. So if anybody knows more about that than me, because I just want to make sure that like there is 100%, it was first in the blockchain, that it hit it first. But I still think that like nonetheless, like it's still going to be such a significant NFT over time. And the other big thing to this as well is like, Rizzo, Becky Cloonan, and Joe Madura, we can predict that they all might have dropped, at the same time. So like, it'd be nice to see that actual mint data to be like, okay, what does VV acknowledge as the FA and what's actually first to the block, right? So yeah, it's all happening. Love MC's energy. Totally agree. You're not sketchy, unlike some other content creators. I won't name who, but they're like homeless people. Basement life. I don't have one. I don't have one, so I'm a couch guy. Haha. Yeah, it's Canada, man. We have basements here. VV to the moon. Remember, gaming has yet to have its major blockchain run. I bet it's the first thing to really pop next bull run. Yeah, so I totally agree with that. Like, I think I said to everybody before, but I did an interview as a director of community management for a company like Zynga. And they were like coming out with their first NFT game and it didn't transpire. But I was like in the final rounds, and pretty much like what they were telling me was that like, the space is still so amateur. Like it's really just appealing to like whales that are really into this stuff. But they didn't think that there was enough people to kind of make it happen. So I think I got Manny here texting me. So yeah, we got Silicon Secure that's gonna pop in. So I'm just gonna send him the link. So let me just send him the link here quick, and then I'll get him to pop in with everybody. Yeah, please sub everybody. And I'm gonna invite Silicon to the stream. He said he's driving, so he's just gonna be audio only. So I'm just gonna text him the link right now. Sweet. So I just sent him that, so we'll give him a few minutes. So we got Steven here, says, could VV hire the entire Disney team? Probably don't need everyone, but more would be better. They're trained and probably quality to originally get hired. Yeah. I just think that like the one thing that everybody keeps saying is that like Disney, like that VV is all of a sudden going to be able to implement the same kind of metaverse that Disney could have. And I'm like, okay, like you got to start thinking about like the scalability, like, Meta, the AKA Facebook, invested billions of dollars, right? Billions of dollars, and they're still not even have developed theirs completely yet. So it's like, there's only so much that VV can do, man. Like, and I just think it's important to remember that, because a lot of people are getting like almost like super bullish. Like, you want to be like obviously optimistic, but not drinking the Kool-Aid. And holy, I think somebody tipped me some crazy money here. Let me just see this. Who did this? Yeah, so David, man, I'm trying to look for where you put this in. That's crazy. David tipped me $50. Wow. Thanks so much, bro. I don't know where that came from or if that was recent. Oh, here it is. Yeah, super recent. Holy shit. Yo, everybody's you guys are crazy. Look at this. $50. Wow, man. $6.99, $9.99. Yo, thank you so much, fam. This is crazy. Like, it's one thing that this is actually what makes my wife still let me do this, is that I still make a little bit of money from this. So it's not much, but it's like just under 1,000 a month. And all these things help, man. So I just want to really appreciate that from everybody. That's super crazy kind of you guys, man. That's yeah. He says David's like, round of drinks on me for sure, man. I'll be taking out the wifey this week, so I appreciate that. Yeah, that's somebody's like, that's a free platinum Mickey. Yeah, exactly. Right. So, I mean, and this is why I'm still here, man. It's the community. It's people like you guys, keeping it super bullish, keeping everybody interested. So yeah, I really, really appreciate that. That's super cool, man. All right. So yeah, Chad, I have to know, what's your favorite football team, European football? Please don't say Chelsea, bro. My favorite football team's Tottenham Hotspur, man. Carson, I don't know if you guys remember my younger brother, but he actually went and he played for the North American Tottenham Academy. So he actually, was there for like 6 months, and he had a chance. He had a contract lined up for the Bundesliga for tier 2. But what happened was that with COVID kind of hit the fence, like everything got like kibosh. So really feel for him, man. Somebody's like, just posted 977 C3PO golden moment on auction. Nice. Silicon looks healthy since then. I wish him great health. Yes, sir. Fellow basement dweller, hoping it can make up on Spade someday. I totally agree, man. Where's your drink? Yeah, man. So, yo, look at this, man. This is crazy. Let's get this fun bread. Yo, you guys are crazy. Look at this shit. Vader coming in with 50. Yo, guys, slow her down, man. Slow her down. This is why I got to do it, man. I was bartending before. I don't even need to bartend anymore. Look at this shit. This is crazy. My collectibles is like, yo, so great to be on your channel. Sorry I had to run. I think he had like, I don't know, he got attacked with COVID or something there in the last few minutes. No, I'm just kidding, man. I appreciate you showing up. You kind of shared so many good thoughts, and it was good to get your opinion on all these topics. So, and we got Silicon Secure from the car that's joining in. So what's up, brother?
Hey, what's up, brother? Can you hear me okay?
I can, bro. People are tipping me like crazy. I don't know what I did, but I got Steve, Vader, Bill, Victor, David, all chat. So many people, man. And it's just crazy right now. I've never seen
That's
this.
That's because you got a great channel, man. Good job.
That's because of guys like you, brother.
Yeah, sorry I'm audio only, guys. I just got back from a long trip of Vancouver, Seattle. Got to hang out with the VV family out there, and so it's been it's been over a week. Like a 9-day trip. So happy to be home.
Man, that's so good. And did you enjoy like Vancouver? Did you meet some of the VV fam?
Oh yeah, man. I tweeted about it. The VV fam is amazing. It's like just amazing how strong the family is. And then going out and they know I'm vegan. They found some special restaurants for me that are just really good. And we just talked about stuff, hung out actually a couple of days in a row, which was cool. The first night was crazy. We partied till like 3 or 4 in the morning, man. It was insane. But yeah, good times.
Wow, that's so good, man. And I just wanted to shout
I
out.
found your twin.
You found my twin. He looked better looking than me, though.
Dude, no. I mean, look, there's no competition here, but he definitely looks like you.
That's hilarious. And yo, Silicon, I don't know if you saw the news, but I think it was like Biscuits. I think it was like she, huge collector on VV, a huge collector overall, physical, digital, is just kind of saying, I'm going to take a little bit of a break. And she's here right now, like, just kind of commented. I just want to acknowledge her because, I was always a huge fan of hers. Yeah, huge fan of hers.
She's part of my Discord family, right, in the VV Army. So that's where I first met her, and she's very cool. And FUD is at an all-time high. I had a few friends that were pretty close, really upset about this whole thing and their interpretation. I tweeted out my interpretation. Again, I could be wrong. It's just what I think, not necessarily fact. And I guess we'll find out what the real story is tomorrow, or at least, what's going on with this OTC deal. But FUD's at an all-time high. But when others are fearful, what's the saying? It may be time to do something.
When others are greedy, be fearful, and when others are greedy, or man, I'm
fearful,
losing my mind now. Yeah,
others are fearful, be greedy. Yeah, totally.
Man,
actually, that's a good movie if you guys haven't seen it. Wall Street. I mean, I'm in sales. I've learned a lot, but at the end of the day, I think you made some great points earlier with my collectibles. Significant IP is significant IP. I mean, it's good. The first are going to be the first. Now, you do make a good point about GoChain. The fact that it was on a private chain, and does that technically, quote unquote, count as the being on the blockchain? I mean, I guess time will tell. But
yeah,
the way that these look like is they're Disney's first NFTs. So the way I see it is these are artifacts. Again, just my opinion. Not everything's going to be an artifact. Not everything's going to be significant. But some things will. And for those things, those are standouts, right? Partners at 2.5K could go lower, and that's a standout. You got, my first love, Todd. Todd's holding well, 700 and change in a down market, supposedly. So we'll see how it goes, but if you can't sell if someone's not buying. So there's someone saying, okay, here's my opportunity, and they're doing whatever they're gonna do.
Man, I don't think I've ever been tipped so much in my fucking life, bro. Like this is crazier than our old streams back in the bull cycle. Like, this is what I'm saying, man. Like, the community's here, like, and that's what this is about, right? It's like VV is one thing, but it's like the IP that we all love and share, and the community surrounded about it, understanding the significance is like what where the heart is, man. And it's like why we all exist to begin with, right?
Yeah, and the community's got so many talents, right? Like, again, the people I met just in Vancouver and Seattle, like, people are strong. You know what I'm saying? They have their skill sets, they have their expertise, they're here for a reason. They saw something, they've been successful in other projects, they know what's up, they know how significant this IP is. So yeah, I mean, the like, again, everyone has their free choice and free will to do whatever they want to do. For me, it's we're in a down cycle overall, right? And so, could it go lower? Yeah, I've said that I think before your channel. Things could go lower. Things could get worse. They always can. They can also get better, right? And so, Disney pulling out of the Metaverse is interesting. Getting rid of 50 employees, and but Meta's still spending that $25 billion a year in the Metaverse. So, something's got to give here. And I think that VV is going to be in a good position regardless. The platinum moments sold out, right? How much money was that just minted? People are still buying gems, right? So there's still people stacking, trying to move up the ranks. We have MCP rolling out. I've seen some amazing. I think the Todd Father's in here. He had an amazing amount of MCP points. I never win for the MCP points. I'm more about the rank, like how do I rank, not necessarily number of collectibles, but maybe vol value would be interesting. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
And so, like, I just want to thank you for coming on, by the way. Like, that's super kind of you. This is the relationship Silicon and I have. Today I did a space and he's messaged me. He's like, bro, like, what happened? He's like, you should have been. I'm like, we're like blood brothers. So, but Silicon, I want to get your take again on the whole Danny Boy thing, because you put it like really eloquently today on your Twitter on like the private deal, like kind of like what you think it was and all that stuff. And I was just wondering if you kind of like, because maybe a lot of people on YouTube didn't see your take on it. I don't know if you have time to like repeat it like you said it to me.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's the deal, right? You have two transactions that happen. One is Danny Boy's wallet. By the way, Danny Boy is not just one guy. He's a group of investors, from what I understand. You have Danny Boy's wallet, and then you've got Vivi's wallet. So 80 something plus House of Card NFTs get sent to Vivi's wallet, and then certain collectibles get sent to Danny Boy. Now, whether there was cash involved as well, I have no clue. We can't tell, right? All we can see is the blockchain data. But what I do know is that I have seen some stuff where, Danny Boy's pooled leverage to certain people. Okay, I'll just leave it at that. So, again, it's not just one person; it's a group of people. So, if there was some smoke around Amir Singh and what he's doing, and possible bankruptcy or possible not necessarily, I mean, I think he has made donations to charity, but he also in 2021 had raised over $300 million in NFTs, right? That's a lot of money. So, where are the receipts, right? Or, where's the news? How come he's not like, he's such a big player. How come I'm not seeing news coverage or anything like that? And then on top of that, he's reaching out to influencers, trying to get them to to share information with them. Well, if Amar Singh's such a big dude, why is he reaching out to influencers? Why isn't he just coming on and explaining himself, right? So to me, that all looks like smoke. And so I could see someone like Danny Boy and his group of investors, maybe lawyering up or writing a letter or doing something, going to Vivi and saying, "Hey guys, look, we want to be able to buy some stuff. We also want to get rid of some stuff. And here's why we want to get rid of it. We think that this project has some issues. The gems that we paid for them, whatever those gems were." And some people are like thinking it's just a drop price. Well, those things went up, so they could have paid more gems for that. We'd like some value for that as part of this. And guess what? We'll buy some stuff. And so, David Yu being the problem solver that he is, I could see him, again, this is speculation, I know nothing. I could see him, solving the problem, right? And this is kind of what you do when you're running a business. You try to solve problems and move on. So, that's my speculation of what I think happened. I think it's a one-time thing, or when I say one-time, it could happen again, right? With another whale or something, but this isn't like the door's open. Come buy low mints from Vivi. Now, I do like the idea of Vivi being able to fundraise with this method if they needed cash, but I really don't think that Vivi's in a cash-strapped position at this time. Now, when they first launched, we all know that they were. David Yu came on Spaces. He told the story, that they were down to very few employees. They were doing the payroll themselves. They didn't know what to do, and one of their investors said, just launch it, and they did. So, the rest is history. But, with this Amar Singh thing, it just seems very fishy. There's a lot of fishiness around it. I'm getting people messaging me different things. And one of his other businesses is in liquidation. That, it is what it is. Maybe he's got investments, maybe he's a prince. But it feels a little Tinder swindler to me. And I think that, the community needs to kind of do some more work here. And again, I could be wrong about all this. And, maybe it has nothing to do with anything, but there's a reason why those NFTs left Danny Boy Layak's wallet, right? So, again, that's my take. I think a lot of people thought, oh, he's getting special treatment and this and this and that. Well, yeah, you get special treatment when you have leverage, And so, he had some leverage. And the question is, what was that leverage? And we've also seen some tweets from some of the charities saying they haven't got any money from some of Amar's stuff, right? So It's easy to give someone a piece of art if someone gave it to you, right? And then the money is kind of like your cash cow. And so on Randy's channel, there was an quote unquote ex-employee. And again, people can accuse things all the time, right? So again, the community, I think we need to do some sleuthing here and figure it out. But, there was some emails that Randy got, pretty much saying from Amar that, they're going bankrupt and they need to work on some stuff and they're not going to get paid. Now, since then, I think someone's gotten paid as a contractor, but, some other people haven't. So I don't know the full story there because I wasn't that close. I didn't have a big investment. I have a couple of I don't even know if it's Amelia. I have a couple of Rewind NFTs. I don't have anything major. So, who knows? But to me, it just all looks fishy. And so that's my gut feeling. I don't think it has anything to do with Vivi being fishy. I think it's more about, whatever charity promises were made and, how that, who pays it out. So, it'd be a good question, I think, for people to ask tomorrow is, how did the money, who was paying the money? Was it Vivi, or was it up to the Rewind Collective, or was it up to Mar, or, one of his companies? I mean, I think that's important because that's how that drop was sold. And that could be how, Danny Boy and his group of investors got leverage.
Man, what an amazing synopsis, Silicon. And that's why I'm so glad you kind of came up and is sharing your wisdom with us here. And I just want to take a second and pause, just let you know what's going on this side of things. It's probably because they could hear your voice too. But I've had an insane amount of tips. I've got 20 tips now, Silicon. I've never had this in my life.
Wow.
Easily over $400, with one guy sending, and I'm going to make sure I acknowledge this. With one guy here, let me just see. I think it was David. Yeah, David Granillo sending $200, man. Like,
wow.
As a tip.
You know what? The community is amazing, man. And you're consistent. You're here. You're present.
This is getting crazy.
There's a reason why I love your channel. There's a reason why the community loves you. You deserve it, man.
Yo, man. I think this is like I just, because Gail's in here, Michael, everybody, man. And the crazy part for me is, this about me, but I work at a hospital in the day, and I was bartending, and I was doing this, and then I told my wife, I was like, I'm gonna give up the bartending and do more stuff for the VV stuff and NFTs. And she's like, okay, whatever. She wasn't happy about it, but I'm like, this is just proof in the pudding that, I don't know, man. I'm getting very sentimental right now because I'm just like, I've never had this before.
You made the right choice, man. You made the right choice, and you're doing extremely well. We're behind you.
Yeah, man.
You know what? You're following your passion, and I always say, when you do something you love, you don't work a day in your life, man. So if you can do this in this bear market, imagine what your channel will look like, and how things will look, when we get back into a bull market.
Yeah, and thanks, buddy. And people are saying the money follows Silicon, and it's true. Wherever Silicon is, but it's just crazy because, like you just said, I put out 172 videos. More than that, I deleted some, so probably 185. And I've never had this. And here we are in the max bear market, right? When everyone's kind of down and out, and it's that's the kind of support you get from the community, right? So it's it's just crazy, man.
Yeah. Well, you've done the work. So, again, props to you, and props for all the hard work you've done. And consistency is very important. You've been consistent, and you said, screw the extra job. I'm going to focus on my passion, my love, and you're shining. So good job.
Thanks, buddy. And I mean, I just want to say to you too, man, you're one of the biggest reasons that, the channel started to grow, and it kind of got all these whales talking to me, right? So it's just you and I, man, we're blood brothers, like I said. So I've got some more questions for you though, since you're here.
Yeah. And I got your back always, man. You need an introduction of someone I know, of course, I'm always there for you.
I appreciate that, bros. So I guess, what are you doing tomorrow? Are you aware of the whales stacking potions? Is that the play? Because because then they're gonna have way more potions to just hold on to, meaning that they only have to mint, let's say they stack up 1,000 of the potions, right, leaving the public with only 1,000. Then there's obviously going to be fewer posters that are minted because they want to ensure that there's scarcity, right? Or am I wrong?
So I think a lot of decisions will be made to the last minute because there's no sense of urgency to do anything until the timer runs up.
True.
But I think the potion will be key, and I could easily see it going 3 or 4x off the floor, even in these conditions. So it'll insta sell out again. And we'll see what happens with the posters. But, I know a lot of the whales, they like to complete sets, right? They flex on how many sets they've completed and all that stuff. So I think it's going to be a game for everyone to play. But yes, the whales are going to get as many potions as they can get, and then make a decision on which posters they like or what mid numbers they can get. And they'll do that. They probably won't be in a hurry right away, right? Because again, it's going to be the last minute. It's going to be a last minute scramble to figure out what to do with your potion. And we're going to go through this probably 4 or 5 more times, right?
Right.
Every drop's gonna have potion.
Okay, and I want to ask you, do you know what the conversion is here? I've got one guy that just hit me, I think it was 25,000 CRC. Do you know what that is?
No clue, man.
Okay.
But yeah, you're gonna have to Google that one.
So CRC, I just put this in, but I think I might be wrong. It says 25,000. I put in CRC. Wow. So yeah, that's $62, man. This is just getting crazy. Yeah. So holy shit, guys, you need to stop. Fuck off.
You're gonna have to upgrade. You're gonna have to upgrade your closet, man.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm gonna have to like move into a penthouse after this and buy like a freaking gold Moogly again. This is ridiculous. But yo, Silicon, that makes sense. I mean, that's I think what a lot of people were saying, right? Which is pretty amazing. So I think like, you know, anybody that's kind of going in the market tomorrow wanting to do some of this stuff, like Silicon just gave you the juices there. And bro, with the Hulk, it doesn't look that good. I mean, it's the Hulk, but like
buy what you love. You know, go back and look at what you love. At the end of the day, if you don't like the Hulk, then you don't like the Hulk, you know?
Yeah.
And with collecting, it's interesting. Sometimes the things that are rejected, you know, they become collectible later. So the things that are hated now could be worth something in the future. I'm not saying buy the Hulk. I'm just saying, you know, there's all these facets to collecting. And, you know, some of the most hated coins when they were dropped or released, you know, they were sought after and the most expensive down, you know, 10 years later.
Oh, and that's what I wanted to ask you about, like with coin collecting, like how long did that take to like appreciate when you were buying these things? And like, were a lot of the same principles kind of parallel here, like with NFTs, like for instance, like first of or things to that nature?
Yeah. So, you know, I think that in the U.S., specifically, I focused on U.S. mint coins, but you know, with the U.S. mint, they were making coins that were less and less mints or less, you know, quantities. Yeah. And so you had some, you know, high-end platinum coins where there was 2,000 minted, you know, and that's crazy if you think about it, right? For a U.S. coin. So, but now it's sort of like the you know, the status quo in some of these coins. So I think that, you know, it just really depends. They all have cycles. You know, some of these coins are tied to their metal value as well. So, you know, if gold goes up or platinum goes up or down, that affects the value and the multiples in which people will pay. That all has a factor in. But usually with coins, it's, you know, people promote them. So what happens is you may have a coin coming out, the mint sells it, someone buys it for, let's just say $1,000, and then you have these promotion companies that come in and try to acquire as many as they can. Then they get them graded, then they promote them, and maybe they sell them for $1,500, and then people buy them, and then maybe the value goes down or it goes up. Typically, it goes down after a promotion ends because they're not being promoted anymore. But then the significant ones will then bounce back, right? Because people realize, oh, this is a key or this is a semi-key, right? And that's kind of what we call them in the coin world. And then from there, they start stacking them or completing sets or doing whatever they're going to do. So it's funny. It's very similar to VV, actually. The cycles are just a lot longer. VV, in my opinion, you know, this bear market feels extremely long, but in reality, it's only been like a year, right? In coin collecting, a bear market could be, you know, 5 to 10 years. So it's just a different thing. So I think that, yeah, we'll see. I feel like we've definitely hit close to a bottom when you have like whales saying they're quitting and people calling me upset and like, you know, almost like yelling in some way because they're just so upset about things. And so to me that, you know, part of that is also the communication, like you guys were saying earlier. I think, you know, VV could go a long way to really kind of communicate things like this, but from their perspective, these are NFTs in their possession. They don't really need to communicate that, right? And so VV is more like a Web 2.5 company, not a Web 3 company. And people think that VV is a Web 3 company because, you know, how VV started was they had, you know, the hard wallet and they had, you know, they have the token and they have all these other things. And they chose to really focus in on the collectibles. And so I always say, look at what the actions are of a company versus what they say, and a lot of their focus seems at this point to be the collectibles in the VVverse. Now, not saying that they won't focus on other areas, but to me, the collectibles, those are the things that I focus on out of all the things of VV, and that I think are significant. Again, like we were saying, partners or Spidey or whatever, Todd, they're all significant, right? And so we'll see. We'll just see how it rolls.
Amazing, man. I appreciate that. And I just want to say too, a lot of people are still going crazy. I don't know what I did tonight to make this happen, but
dude, you quit your job for Vivi.
I quit I should have just quit my real job too. I got this from Corey actually, who just tipped me as well, and he sent this to me in the mail, and it's a Batman Who Laughs, which is really kind of cool too. So I just want to acknowledge that. But yeah, and guess who we got back now, Silicon? We got My Collectibles back at it.
Nice.
You're back, bro. You're feeling better.
Yeah, sorry about that. I had to bust out pretty quick. I felt pretty bad about that. But ever since I left, you've been getting tipped like a champ. I think I should get out of here.
Look at this shit. I've never seen this.
You deserve
My Collectibles at Vancouver.
I want to come back and just say you deserve it, man. You're one of my OGs. You're a legend. And like I said earlier, wow, it's always an honor to be on your channel. I was watching you from the start, man. And you too, Silicon, you know how I feel about you. You guys are just just top notch. And man, you deserve it, man. 8K subs should be 30K. I mean, we'll get there one day, right? But you're on the way, buddy. And I see everybody showing their love to you, and it's well deserved, man, for sure. So I know you're Canadian. I know you're modest. That's how we do it up here across the border. But you do deserve it, buddy.
I appreciate that, man. I feel so bad because people just keep rolling in the dough here, and I'm like, I don't know how they have the look. It goes to show you, though. Another big thing is how liquid the market still is, right? Because it's like if these guys could tip, a few $100s each in the chat, it's just like obviously, you don't have to be too worried about the community ever plundering, right? So I think that's also the thing that people are saying. It's like it's a statement, man. And we got Jordan in the house too that just showed up, and just so many people in here, man. So and this David guy's tipped me like $300 plus, man, right now. It's just ridiculous. So I'm gonna make a post after about this. This is probably the craziest thing I've ever seen. But how are you doing, man? You're doing good in My Collectibles?
Oh yeah, no, I'm doing great. Yeah, no, I was just I've been live a lot today. Yeah, and you know me, I tend to scream, and I was just enjoying listening. I want to say hi to Silicon because I missed you in Vancouver, man. And
yeah, man, you know what? You got a great community out there, and I'm putting it on you, to do regular meetups. I know you're on an island somewhere, but get off your island, go to the mainland, and meet up with these people. They're amazing, and I know you did once already. I think everyone around the country, around the world. I just got invited to one in I think Amsterdam or the Netherlands. I mean, I don't know if I'm able to make it there, but it's just the community is what it's all about. The people are amazing. That's the real value I'm seeing right now in this market is like all the people we're networking and making connections with. We're in the VV club, man, and you know what? We're one big family. I love it.
Yeah, I will for sure, man. This is my region up here. And when Metaverse came through, I would have come through and see you, but it was my third. I had 2 weekends in a row. One for a buddy, because I used to live in Van. I grew up there. And then Metaverse came through. And so I went over for that. And then you came through. I was like, I couldn't pull 3 weekends in a row, man. I was going to get killed at home. So otherwise, if you're up, anytime you're up, man, I'm there. So
it's easy to hang out when you're on, on a trip. But yeah, when you're home, you got to take care of family life. I get it.
Man, so somebody has a question here. They go, "Hey, I have a comic question. It seems pretty specific, but say, what is the best version of Something Is Killing the Children to get? I want to get a 9.8 to hang on the wall and hope the show makes it pump." I don't know if Silicon, you probably wouldn't know that, but My Collectibles, anything that you know there?
Yeah, that's actually a comic series I haven't collected at all. So I really couldn't give an educated answer on that. But I think they're the name changed because it's so but you just keep getting tipped, man.
Have you had this happen before, bro?
No, well, not at this level, but yeah, it's. I had my 100th live stream, and people were super generous. It was so nice. I couldn't believe it, man. I was knocked off my floor. I know Dino one time was cracking eggs on his head about a year ago, and he had this happen, but he was literally having to crack eggs on his head at like 12 midnight. That was a crazy, weird one. But no, so you don't have to do that. But no, yeah, my 100th live stream, the community really stepped up and was like super nice. I just couldn't even believe it, man. It made my whole year. I couldn't even believe it. Like, is that one actually got me a bit emotional because it was my 100th and everyone was just doing the same thing. They're just showing you love, man. I mean, I don't think, I mean, we're here doing our vids and we're like sharing our stuff, but when I watch you guys, it's part of my lifestyle now. It's part of my like enjoyment. You guys are part of my entertainment, like you guys, like you, right? And always were at the beginning, and it meant a lot, especially those beginning bunch of months when we were first getting going. I was watching you guys and VV Vault and everybody, right? And Johnny Dunn. I mean, like, you guys like really set the table and gave me confidence to get online and start chatting. And now all these other channels, people are popping up, sharing their stuff. And a lot goes back to you guys. So yeah, I think it's deserved, man. It's just people's ways of, I mean, they can't give you a hug, right? They can't buy you a beer. So this is one way to do it.
I don't even like get it, man, because like I've only had like a little bit like of this happen, but this is like, look at this shit. Like this is another, 60 something dollars, $100 from Mike, who also just sent me 5 Miles Morales What If comics, which are on the way. Somebody just subscribed and tipped $10, Lord of the Realm, another $5. Like, it's just like, I don't know what this is about, but I mean, clearly people are like, like they're like, listen, like, even though people are thinking like VV is going to FUD and bottom out, like there's no fucking way we're going to let that happen. Like,
No.
like there's shit that's going on in the world. There's like trolls, there's like all these things, but like, we're also passionate about this and the project and the IP that like, man, we built the community that is like unbreakable at this point. So it's just like, to me, this is just so significant. Like, it's just crazy, man. Like, and a lot of people
we won't be stopped.
Yeah, man, I didn't even cry on my wedding day, but I might cry here. So stop. But yeah, so, Silicon, did you hear anything else in the chat with my collectibles that you thought was interesting to comment on?
Well, I was on a plane, so I wasn't able to listen in. But when I landed, I kind of jumped in towards the end, and I just think that the FUD is strong now, but the community is stronger than FUD, right? And at the end of the day, yes, growing pains. Yes, BB's poised in a good position. Like, to me, it's, I'm seeing surprises on things, and I'm like, man, I really want to put some more decent amount of cash in. So, we'll see how things roll out. But I'm looking at partners at 2.5, going, whoa, okay, because again, you even did a little video on it. That's a key piece, right? And I'm sure my collectible, I know you're in the comics a lot too. I mean, what is it? Vader's at like 400, right? I'm surprised he hasn't dipped below 4. Maybe Todd will touch high 6s. We'll see how it goes. But, like, I don't think that people are really selling right now. And I think that's one of the complaints I actually heard in the spaces from Prop was that, hey, I'm not getting to my prices. What's going on here? FUD's at an all-time high. I expected this to be dip lower, right? So, together we're strong, and we're gonna remember this looking back, going, yeah, guys, our strategy worked, right? And maybe there's a few bumps, obviously a few bumps in the road, and sometimes even no road, but we're gonna make a bridge and get across it.
Yeah, I keep waiting for my Lambo to come down, and it just keeps staying where it's at. I like the gold one, and that's the one I want. I had the ultra rare, and I sold it like a little while ago, and I was like, I just want to get the one I like, right? Because they're all scarce. And I was like looking at the gold one, and it's like, it was under 80. I was like, oh, go down to 70. Let me pick it up. And now it's back over 90, and it's climbing back up to 100 again. And I'm like, I should just buy it now. But that's the one I want to have, like, as my is my favorite one. But yeah, the prices on these, some of them, they just stop. Holy smokes!
I know, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at certain things, and there's not that many items listed, right? Like, you know, yeah, there's 75 extra Todds because we're flex listing, but you know, when those get delisted here, probably any day now, those will be gone. And then, you know, looking at like some of my favorites, the listings aren't there. People aren't selling them.
Right.
They're in huddle mode.
Exactly. Look at Lord of the Realm. I'm not fucking leaving. Remember from Wall Street?
I remember that. Man, and Michael tipped $100. I got this Joe So and David and Lord of the Realm, Josh. Like, I can't Nagin Tran, the Hobo Goblin's back. I mean, so many damn people, man. This is getting stupid. Jordan. But actually, Michael has a question. Michael Campa has a question for you, Silicon. I'm just gonna get it up here because it was important. He goes, question for Silicon. Awesome. Yeah, how much?
He was very generous. I haven't posted a tweet yet, but he gave me a pretty amazing Batman set that I just opened not too long ago, and it was the 1939 replica Batman figure, the replica comic, and a book, and all encased in a nice package. And so shout out to Michael for being awesome. You know, what a family we've got. I mean, it's just I'm touched. I was touched. I'm always touched by the community, and you know, it's like when you meet in person, and you know, it just feels like we always knew each other. You know, even though you just met for the first time, and looking forward to meeting at the next event. I'll try to get out to Toronto. Obviously, that's going to be a big one.
Gotta come.
Yeah, and then, you know, Decon and Cali. So yeah, I mean, I gotta balance it out. You know, same thing. You know, my wife's like, "You're going on vacation for Vivi?" I'm like, "Whoa, it's not like that." You know.
Yeah.
But you know, I can see how she can see it that way.
Yeah, and you know, Michael says so. He goes, you know, what do you think the price prediction would be if a Todd between the numbers 1 and 10 would sell and it went to bidding? So if it went to like bidding, let's say, David, you put a numbers 1 to 10, like, I don't know which number, anyone that you think, Silicon, and it just went to bidding, like, how much do you think that would sell for? Because that's pretty much signifying one of the first 10 editions ever released, right? Like, I mean, and if this company becomes the next Amazon, like, what does that mean?
Yeah, I think at least 5x a miles, Secret Rare, so 5 to 10x at least in this market. In a bull market, you know, obviously it would be way higher, but that would be something I think Dr. Profit would want to go after. So, you know, he would probably bid that up all day long.
Yeah, that's like a good point. The first ever, not just for Todd, but because Todd's the first. That's like the top 10 first ever minted. That's crazy.
Yeah, that would be insane.
That would be crazy.
And you know what? That's not a bad idea for VV to take some of these special mints and auction them off. The challenge is, you know, the people with the biggest bags are going to get them. So, I mean, when I say the challenge, I mean, it's going to be pretty much, you know, the Dr. Profits of the world and maybe the top 5 to 10 whales that are going to be competing for those. And it'll be out in the stratosphere.
Yeah, that'd be good press, though. A few people have said, you know, this sale, if this was a sale and it was it was like $200,000 that crossed paths here or whatever with this, you know, this recent sale, like this recent deal, if we think it's a deal, right? Like, I know you explained it really well, Silicon. That was a great example, right, of what you were talking about. But let's say something like this big does happen. The press behind that would be good for Vivi. Yeah. If that was released, well, if Vivi themselves were said, wow, we just did a $200,000 blah, blah, blah deal on all our stuff, they could actually use that for promotion.
Yeah, that's another way to think of it. Vivi's humble, right? Because if you think about it, this Platinum Moments drop, just add up how many gems that was. If you think about it, you know, all these drops that sell out, they could put a press release out every week saying they sold, you know, $1 point whatever million, $2 point whatever million worth of NFTs. I mean, that's significant. So Vivi's not really bragging about it, but when you do the math, that's real hard money.
Why do you think they're not?
Because they're humble.
You think just because they're humble? Yeah. Yeah. They should not be humble. Let's go.
Yeah.
We're humble enough here in Canada. Pirates is humble.
Add it up. Someone do the math right now. I'm driving, but someone do the math. What was Platinum Moments? What was the value of that drop at $60 a pop?
It was 10,400. I'll just get it like.
I got a calculator right here.
So 10,000
times 60.
Yeah, so 624,000.
Oh, you got you got right before me.
Like almost $750,000 in like less than 5 minutes, right? I mean, it was like 2 or 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes when it sold out. Because I think
that's almost as much as the tips Chad's got on the stream here. That's almost as much.
Yeah.
I'd like your comment.
Was one drop.
Yeah, I saw your comment earlier. Like my collectibles, you're like, you know, that I've got my own bull run going on tonight.
Pirates bull run.
That's crazy, bro.
No, it's beautiful. Yeah, man, that's crazy, Silicon. Hey, that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, money's still coming in the app. It's not. You know, people keep thinking, you know, win the new users, but you know what? The users right now are buying. So tell me what other NFT project is doing that on a weekly, multiple times a week basis. I just don't see it. I mean, I see projects that are doing one drop and they sell a few million and they have a few million in ETH, but just to be this consistent, to have this major IP, obviously people are big believers.
Yeah, totally.
For sure. And I think that's where it's kind of getting to a point where people are saying, like, I get the trolls, I get the macroeconomics, I get the team maybe like doesn't properly manage the communication, and they're saying, I get it. But like what these things mean and where we're going when we're going to be operating with NFTs inside metaverses in the digital realm, like there's no fucking way the most significant physical assets in the world currently aren't going to have like a big piece of the pie when we enter there. Like, you can't take your AF-15 slabbed physical comic book and go into a metaverse and think that it's going to have all this different like, utility, right? Like, maybe you'll be able to spawn something for you, but I think it's really going to come down to these significant IPs. Like, this is the next evolution, of this world. Like, we're at the precipice of change right now.
It's a flex. Yeah, no doubt. It's a flex, and it's going to be a flex. People just can't see the vision right now because the technology is catching up. The investments are being made right now. We've talked about this. The Qualcomm AR glasses. The companies are making development. What is Meta spending $25 billion on? Right? They're spending it on the technology to build out the metaverse because they know this is the future. I think that we've seen the fast forward of that future with the pandemic and another pandemic.
Right.
So technology's here. There's supply chain problems with physical goods. With NFTs, there's not, right? Literally it's legal issues you got to get through and paperwork, but supply chain problems, no. That you make the art, you get it approved, you review it, you get specialists on it, and you get the experts to make sure it looks right, and boom, you print it. It's printing money. It literally, the margins are huge for these companies. Think about the margins. So when I hear people saying EV's struggling, are you kidding me? Are you seriously kidding me? Even them paying out 30% to the Apple Store if they have to for gems, they're printing money, literally printing money.
Yeah, Steve has a good question that goes like, what's the goods for like 624,000 in gross sales? So for instance, like, like once you pay like Disney, once you pay like the licensor, once you pay like the design team, I don't know, like all the drop mechanics. I mean, I'm sure it's not like manufacturing, like where there's so much more cost, like transport, holding it in a storage, material, all that shit.
Shipping is like a big expense, right, for these things.
But what do you think the profit margin is?
Yeah, so it's higher than the physical goods. I can tell you that right now. So after all that, it's higher, or else they wouldn't be doing it, right? And this is also a new revenue stream for the licensors, right? They can get are you telling me I can keep dipping in, right? I can keep getting a cut of the action.
Yeah.
So, for them, it's a proof of concept of what's possible. And, I see the physicals coming with digital twins. I still see that happening. I don't see why it wouldn't. I see the digital having the ability to give you something, right? Different utilities. Of course, with Disney, they got to announce it, but why wouldn't they, right? Because they want to keep that machine moving. They want to keep that, not only the initial sales going, they want to keep the secondary going, because that's where they're making even more money. This is a whole new revenue stream. And I think the reason why that, Disney took the metaverse so seriously in the first place was because of the amount of revenue that, Vivi's been bringing to them. So, Vivi is really kind of the experts at marketing this and getting it going. And they were kind of almost forced to, to market it, if that makes sense. Maybe even before they were ready, as I said. But, it's only been 2 years since I've joined. And, I mean, that's it, man. I mean, the app's only been around since October of 2021.
Yeah.
That's nothing, man. Like, it really is nothing. You talk to Frank Kozak and you talk to him about what it takes to make a toy, and they have to be ahead of the game by 18 months.
It's crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I just, if anyone thinks this is in the future, there's not going to be future utility, and there's not going to be, and even if there's not on some of these, right? Because Disney wants to announce stuff first, there's still artifacts. What do I mean by that? They're so significant because they're the first of so many to come, that these are artifacts of a time and place that if you knew and you were ahead and you were in the game, and there's going to be people saying that, I was in that project, but I didn't believe in it. I sold out, or I thought about it, but I thought, it didn't make any sense. I couldn't see the vision, whatever. I mean, it is what it is. And again, it is risky. There's going to be issues. It may not go the way that we all planned. It may not go the way that Vivi's planned it. But I can tell you this, that, David Yu's not here for, he's here to be successful. He has a track record of being a successful entrepreneur. He's been an entrepreneur since he was a teenager. And, he got the Pokemon, like we were talking about the other day, he got the Pokemon license, right, when he was under 20, right, or something like that. I mean, insane.
Yeah.
For the region. So like, he's a hustler, right? Now, I think he needs more people to help, because there's so much work to be done in communication and stuff as they grow the company. But I still think there's more margin in this than anything physical that's being created.
Yeah, like when I used to have a merchant account with Sideshow Collectibles, for the 1/6 scale figures, they would come out with a toy, and I would pre-order it, and some of my customers would pre-order with me. We'd wait 1.5 years for it to show up.
Yep.
Or they could even produce it, but they would have the prototypes at the toy fairs, and they would announce it. So I would have the back end merchant account, and I would put in my order for my shop. I'd order like 10 units. It would take 1.5 years.
Yeah, I mean, I got
to even show up. Now this is different, right? We can get that Iron Man. By the way, there's a Disney 100th Iron Man, and it's shiny. Go Google it. Disney 100th Iron Man, Sideshow Collectibles, like the Hot Toys, the 6 scale. They're just, and by the way, the audience for that makes Vivi's audience look like this big. The people who collect those, and if we get one of those in here, Disney 100, and there's also these like little mini ones too that are crazy, that are amazingly beautiful. And they're all shiny and stuff. The Iron Man is crazy. People are freaking out over it, but they won't actually own it for 1.5 years. Even though it's come out right now, they can't actually get their hands on it because it's just like, it's a pre-order. So
imagine this. Imagine you pre-order that collectible.
Yeah.
And you get the NFT now. So you can
play with it. Exactly.
And while you're waiting for the physical, you already know your mint number of what your physical is going to be when you get it in 18 months.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I love that. Did you guys see that video I posted maybe like a week ago of the statue collector that had like a $250,000 statue collection, and then it was inside like this amazing warehouse that he built? And there's other people with like millions of dollars worth of like collectibles, but like all of them were worth at least 1,000 to about 4,000 a piece.
I need to watch that. I missed that one. I need to watch that one.
Yeah, and I'm like, we need guys like him coming in because like it's not that far of a transition. I mean, like you're just getting digital collectibles, and like if they really are proud about digital ownership and scarcity and all those things, like it's in my understanding, like there's a lot of comic guys right now, but there's like almost zero statue guys or people rather that are in so far, you know.
Exactly. And Vivi's proven themselves. I mean, like they don't need to reprove themselves. Like they've got Disney's attention. They have Marvel's attention.
Right.
Marvel with distribution, right? Again, the reason why they ramped up the comic is David he told in an AMA that the reason why they had to move up so fast is Marvel had distribution problems getting those comics out to Europe and other places. So, I mean, supply chain problems are real and they're expensive, right? And so if I can do that, I can get people excited about these. They can buy and sell them and trade them. It's a win-win, right, for everybody. And guess what? On those physicals, Marvel doesn't get a cut, right? They don't get 10 cents every time someone sells that comic book or when the value
That's the
goes
crazy
up.
part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Forever.
But here they do, right?
Yep. Yeah. If we get the Mandalorian in here or Grogu.
Oh my God, that'd be
Grogu. He's over there. By the way, I pulled Jordan out. Playoffs are coming. I know he's retired, but Grogu and Jordan are hanging out. If we get Grogu in here
and his fish sticks, then it's going to be
his fish sticks. Yeah, he's full.
Man,
I mean, it's not if. I think in the Platinum Moments, there's 24, and one of them is Grogu.
Yeah, we'll get him. He's coming. You hear that, Grogu? He won't tell me though. He's been meeting with David. He won't tell me. He's been having these little.
I think he's going to be a Platinum Moment.
Yeah, he won't tell me.
I mean, we got Mini FA, we got Dumbo FA, and Platinum Moments.
Yeah.
We got 2 FAs and 1 drop, and we got 4 or 5 more drops to go.
Yeah.
Crazy. Well, listen, guys, I've gotta take off. I know there's still a lot of people in here, but
you're gonna stop getting tipped, man. You must be present to get tipped.
I know. I think I gotta slow her down because I'm like, this is getting ridiculous. I had 51 people tip me, bro.
Wow. You know what? Kudos to you, man. Like, again, you know what? You're a rock. You're a foundation. My Collectibles, you as well. Consistency. You're present. I'm proud of you guys. You guys kick ass.
Thanks, bro. And I'm just gonna go through them quickly, just one more time. Like, this is like I've never seen this before ever, so I just want to acknowledge all this. We got Crypto Kaki in here, All Chat Gaming, Jimbo Lee, Sergio, Don, Bill, David, which is crazy, Nick, Nigan Trans, Sean, Steve, Vader, Bill, Victor, Mintalox, David again, Shanzi, Bill, Aza, like I just this is crazy. CRC,
amazing.
Man, I mean,
Who's that guy? My Collectibles.
Who's that guy?
Go show that to your wife and let her know, like, hey, you know what? The time I spend here is worth something. And that's probably, is that USD or is that Canadian?
It's all over, bro. Like Mexican. I even had Costa Rica money.
I love it.
Awesome.
So it's just crazy. But I just wanted to get through all these because I'm like, I want to kind of acknowledge, do like a post on Twitter after or something, So
it's great, amazing, man, because I know it's just monetary, but I think people are just showing you what they think about you, man, how they care about you. So, when you show that you care, I mean, people care back. And like I said, we're all in this together, right? The whole community, right? I mean, a lot of other projects, people have to understand, like, it's up to us to, and not us, like the 3 of us.
Yeah.
But like, it's up to like us.
It's up to us.
It's up to us. It's up to you, Chad. No, but it's, push this project forward and let people know outside of VV and outside of Web3 what's going on here. And we have a big role, without the community, VV is nothing. They're just an empty shell of a project with stuff that nobody buys. We are actually VV. So, like the community. So if we all work together and just try to, let people know about the great stuff that's going on here, we'll all do better. All our stuff will do better. I mean, people are think about it like that.
People are finding, people in the community that they're dating, right? People are getting serious. I mean, it's funny, the hearts and people are like, oh, it's a dating app. But think about it. If you're going to spend 1/3 of your life in the VVverse as David wants it to be, right? Then, generally, then you're going to be meeting people and building relationships, and the quality of the people here in this community is just amazing. Like everyone's got something to bring to the table, right? And it's a network that we've never seen. And I've had people comment to me like, how do you know these people? Like, how do you know this person? It's like, it's through my VV family, right?
Yeah.
And think about it. Like, you have access to some of the most brilliant minds that we've got here. And you know what? Together we're strong as ever. So I'm more bullish now, believe it or not, than especially after coming on this trip, meeting some of the fam again, right? Uh, than ever. And these prices are the prices, and people will have their reasons why they're done, and that's okay. And it is what it is, and I appreciate them, and we still love you and welcome you back anytime. But together we're strong, and we're really getting, what's the word? When, we're taking that metal and we're making it stronger, right? Help me out. Somebody help me. Anodized.
Pressure makes diamonds.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Like Superman crushing that. Remember when he crushed the coal?
Yeah.
We're getting tough right now, you guys. You got to be tough in this game. Only certain people can survive, and I know everybody in the chat is. We got tough skin. We know you're going to go through some tough times in this thing. Just roll with it and see the overall pathway of everything's going. Like in the future, like the world is changing. We're watching it, and we're all a part of it. We got a front row seat. People are going to show up after it's all said and done, and they're going to be like, "Wow, what the hell's going on in here?" We're like, "Well, you should have seen it like 3 years ago." And so we're gonna, and I think it's the greatest show ever. I mean, I can't even believe what's happening. And my kids are right over here, and they get it. That's the crazy part. Some people, like we say, how are we gonna get people in here? They don't understand. They understand it in 2 seconds. 15 and 13 years old. I don't have to explain much. In fact, they're telling me things. They told me stuff about my channel, that like they gave me tips. Like, hey, have you ever thought about doing this? And I'm like, oh, wow, that's great. Thanks. Like they're the ones like, and believe me, in 94, when the internet was just getting going, by the time I get to 2000, someone who was 14 years old in 1994, who, was insignificant because they're in high school or something. They were 20 in the year 2000 building, Napster, Facebook, YouTube, everything that, they're growing up in this early stage. And in 5 or 6 years from now, they're going to be the ones that are going to create stuff that we can't even imagine. Right. So
we're going to be the grandmas and grandpas of the VVverse. So.
Well, it's true. I mean, like there's stuff that hasn't been invented yet for Web3. Like before for Web2, there was YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. That stuff didn't exist. And we were all here during the early days when websites were just getting made. Web3 is the same thing. There's something out there that we haven't even seen yet, that somebody's building or conceptualizing or hasn't even conceived yet, that's going to show up, and it's all coming.
I mean, we know there's something here worth staying for, and the community like is the biggest thing I've gotten out of it like so far. And it's only been, this is my 2-year anniversary this month. So I mean, it's just 2 years. I mean, how many cycles have we been through already?
That's it. It's been felt like a lifetime. And I've got one more Sky here. Vader V goes, this one is for your wife, $50. He goes, tell her we say she's got a good one and we need you. Thanks to David for starting us off. Figured if I matched you, these gamblers would go wild. It's all psychological. Folks, good over evil. Be on the side of good. Cheers. That's crazy. Yeah.
Love it.
Beautiful.
Wow. Yeah. That moment, you've got momentum. Pirates, keep it up. Good work.
Yeah, man, this is crazy. So yeah, I mean, thanks for coming on, guys. We'll do it again soon. Man, there's some really good, like sentimental, like, kind of emotional, logical, and just all feel good vibes in the the height of a bear market. So I mean, just how cool is that, right? And like you said, Silicon, like, and my collectibles, like, it's about community, man, and like this is where we're at. So I want to say thank you. Yeah, hit that like button, guys. Thank you so much for all these crazy tips.
Yeah, tweet this video out, retweet it, tag us, because people need to know that it's not just all, FUD, that there's true believers here. Call us whatever you want. It's significant IP. We're here for that reason. And then, the community is stronger than ever. So, you know what? We'll filter out the chaff and we'll keep moving.
Amazing.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. And Mike just says quick, he goes, when the stream's over, go out and support VV Vibes. He's doing a live now too. So maybe
there you go. Vibes. Yeah. I walked around with him for a whole weekend at Decon. He's a great guy. He's like 6 foot whatever, played, Division I college football, guys. Damn. He's a big dude if you meet him in life, and he's the greatest guy ever. We walked around that whole Decon together. Him and I really just became close and hung out. We were like buddies the whole time, and great guy, great channel.
I'm gonna go listen. I'm gonna get some dinner. It's been a long day, so I'm gonna grab some quick and then head home.
Amazing. Thanks so much, gents. That was a blast. Thanks for everybody tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one, and like a moment I'll never forget. So thank you guys.
Yeah, peace out. I'm glad to be part of it. Take care, guys.
Take care. Wow, what a crazy